First of all, thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you to Ellen. Thank you to Dodie. Thank you to John and all the other Silver Circle winners tonight. What a special night. What a great one. I also want to thank the folks here at our table. Courtney McCallum, who is able to take old 16mm film, slides, 3/4 inch, beta, M2, and turn it into video. I'd like to thank Julie Eisenman, our news director, for being here. She's the lady who thinks that I've got a three-winged circus in my head every day. And Tim Weaver and his wife Stephanie. Tim's our director of sales, and he had great news for me today. The Georgia-South Carolina game tomorrow is sold out, along with the along with the 3-hour pregame show we've got going. So that's pretty cool. Thank you to Natus. Natus is a great organization. I've been involved with Natus for years. Thank you to Evie Mims and Daryl Cohen, who are really the rocks of the Southeastern chapter. They've done such a great job. But you know, I think of the Southeast chapter as the Atlanta chapter, but Southeast, it has Georgia and South Carolina and 2 or 3 other states involved. You ever wonder how that happened? Well, years ago, about 30 years ago, local markets weren't included in the local Emmy Awards across the United States. There were a few chapters. Atlanta had a chapter, Cleveland had a chapter, New York City had a chapter. I was lucky enough to be elected to the National Awards Committee. And the decision was made that we would like to spread this out and let every chapter, or every city in the United States have the opportunity to win a local Emmy Award. So we got a map of the United States out, and we just started drawing lines around different chapters. Took the Atlanta chapter. Okay, let's see. That will be South Carolina. Let's take a little bit of North Carolina. Bottom line, when it was all over, I had a great understanding of how congressional districts are drawn throughout the United States. 50 years. Sounds like a long time, but you know, in our business, we don't even think about time. It's just what we do. It's after, you kind of blink your eyes and another decade has gone by and you say, where did that go? But then you turn around and another decade has gone by. We've transitioned, obviously, from 16mm film to 3/4 inch tape to M2 to DVC Pro and Beta and all that, and we're now doing file transfer. When I started, there was no satellite delivery. Heck, there hardly weren't any satellites out there. Anybody who's worked in our business for a number of years has lots of stories. Who hasn't been on the radio, as I was, reading copy one day when a good friend of mine tried to break me up by lighting it all on fire? I can tell you about directing professional wrestling in Paducah, Kentucky, live, and we had a wrestling bear who decided to get out of the ring and go up the ladder that was on the side of the studio, and the ladder came crashing down on. It was all live. It was a lot of fun. I'll never forget working with Woody Hayes doing Ohio State football programming when I was in Columbus, Ohio. Of course, that was before Woody had the game in Clemson. Great time with the Browns in Cleveland. I've got a million stories, but I'll spare you with those. But some of my best memories come after we've aired something that's particularly meaningful. A local program, and I'll get an email or I get a phone call from a viewer who wants to tell me how much that broadcast meant to them or meant to their family. Sometimes we help people in difficult times. Sometimes we save lives. That's when we all know that we're doing our job, making a difference. We've been given an extraordinary opportunity of coming into people's homes every night. Our responsibility, though, is what we do when we get there. And it's got to be great. My best memories are the feelings of the close personal relationships that we develop over the years, friendships that last for decades, with people who are now spread across the country. We work in pressure situations, each one of you know that, and our shared experiences create a very unique family. You learn quickly that it's a team effort, and we rely on each other to pull the whole thing off. Extraordinary efforts from extraordinary people, all working together for the same goal, creates bonds that are never, ever broken. But as you all know, and if you heard tonight, being married to somebody who's in the television business isn't the easiest thing in the world. When we issue a tornado warning or a hurricane warning, where are we? We're at the station. When we're doing that fabulous special, where are we? We're at the station, or we're on location. When the transmitter goes down, where are we? We go to the station. When the phone rings at 3 o'clock in the morning, and everybody in this business knows that thing rings at 3 o'clock in the morning when it never should, but it does, where do we go? We go to the station. And what happens when your TV station gets flooded, as WLTX did back in 2015? Well, we don't just go to the station, we live at the station. And what happens to our spouses? They're at home. I'd like to thank tonight my wife, Sue. Tonight is our 33rd wedding anniversary. And where are we? We're at a broadcast function, obviously. I'd like Sue to stand, and everybody give her a hand. I can tell you, putting up with me is no great tricks, let me tell you. My father, Roger Odell, as you saw in the video, owned a small grocery store in St. Peter, Illinois, a little 3-aisle store. It's where I started growing up. In our town, 350 people, a little German farming community. He gave me my first job. I earned 25 cents an hour, and I was out on the street selling watermelons, bagging potatoes. You haven't lived until you stuck your hand in a 50-pound bag of potatoes that came off the truck, and your finger goes through the potato. But anyway, my dad gave me advice, which I really took to heart. He said, do what you're supposed to do it as well as you can do it, and then do just a little bit more. I think and I hope I've been able to do that. Thank you very much.